healing crystals, skincare routines, knitting a sweater, fitting in jeans. With Katie and Sarah, no need to worry, you're on a lady journey.
What do you read? What's your
So
stuff that you
much.
love to read?
So I love nonfiction.
Okay.
But I've started to read fiction because I'm like, that improves your vocabulary.
Yeah.
I'm just like, help me, books.
Yeah.
Smart.
But I'm really into.
We're kind of going, right?
Yeah, we're kind of
we
going.
going?
We're
Yeah.
kind of
We're just
going.
kinda
Yeah, we're
Fuck
kind of
it.
going.
But this is a great
Let's just do
subject to
it.
get into anyway.
Yeah, the current book that I read a couple books at a time, but 2 books that I'm in love with. One is called Transcending Consciousness.
Ooh, that sounds smart.
Just talking about all the emotions and how they calibrate and how to get from one to the other to like move up the emotional scale.
Yeah.
The other one that I'm really into that I'm covering on my solo podcast is The Mountain Is You by Brianna Weiss.
I've read
Self-sabotage.
I just read it.
This is the 3rd time I'm reading it. I'm like,
We've talked about that on this podcast many times.
that
Yeah.
woman is full of knowledge. I watched an interview she did with Hoda Cobb and Jenna Bush, and she's full of wisdom. She's like young. She's like younger
Did you
than
read
us.
the
I'm like, wow.
100 Essays to Change the Way You Think, which is also by her?
No.
Yeah,
That's so many essays.
so many
That
essays,
is
but
a
a lot
lot.
of them are lists.
Can we narrow
A lot
that
of
down
them
to
are
5?
lists.
Love lists.
I know somebody recommended me that book about a year ago, and they were Gen Z, so I took them up on it. I
Yeah,
said,
that's
"Let me
wise.
see what they're." But I've never made it through.
Yeah,
I go
okay.
because some of the essays, some of it is like how to be yourself.
Yeah.
Things that you'll
That you
forget
have down.
before you die.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. And sometimes you're just like, I don't know. I need to get sucked in.
Yeah.
a little
Right.
more than that.
Yeah.
I also love mediumship, so I read a lot of books on that. I
Ooh.
want to talk to dead people so bad.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
I'm
did
really
not know
into
that
it.
you were into that. That's such a lady journey.
Such a
Tell
jerk.
us a fact about mediumship.
So when you die, your physical body dies, but you don't die. Another thing that I'm really into that kind of goes along with that is near-death experience videos on YouTube. I've watched.
Mike is really into that too.
Really?
Yeah.
So the best nuggets of wisdom can be found in these videos of people who've medically died because
Yeah.
they like went to the other side, got all the intel of like, this is how you're fucking it up. And if you want to come back, cool, you don't have to. And then they come back and they're like, here's all of the things I learned. And it's so the moments in those videos that really blow me away are like people have a life review and they go through this kind of montage of moments in their life that were important, but they weren't as big. Like they weren't like these huge moments, but they made a huge impact. And the ones where they positively impacted people were ones that like they totally forgot. Like the woman behind them in line didn't have enough money to pay for her groceries. So like, oh, here's $5, like take it. And then that like they see the way that changed that person's life. And then the other ones that were like the way you negatively affect people were things that were so minor that I'm like, I gotta really be careful about the words I choose.
Like
Right.
you farted in an elevator.
Well, that one you can't help. But
That's your body.
But like I have road rage.
Okay.
And so I like throw darts at people from my car. Like I don't like go out and yell,
that's
fuck
safe
you. And that's not good. That's not like they feel that even though they're not like consciously taking it in. So
you're throwing darts inside the car?
well, yeah. So if it
Are
like
you saying
it's-
like energetically?
exactly.
Okay,
So,
I was
to your
like, huh, yeah.
yeah. So if someone cuts me off and I'm like, you fucking asshole, and I
Yes.
like send that to them,
Okay.
that affects them.
I was
in a
taking
way.
it literally, and I was like, huh, I've never
I have
heard
car
of
darts.
this, but car darts.
You never heard car darts? Get with it, Katie. But yeah, so I love metaphysical stuff
Wow.
and self-improvement. A lot of childhood trauma under my belt.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
self-improvement. Anything that's like a nugget that you're like, oh my God, I needed that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm rereading the Happiness Trap, and I'm
Ooh, trap.
highlighting it. The Happiness Trap I really enjoy. This was actually recommended to me by my therapist. I may have talked about it on here before, but this is a recap, okay? But it's all about how in a lot of self-help will try to make you do things to stay positive or like control your thoughts, and it's thought control basically. So what it actually can end up being is thought suppression. So that's what the trap is.
Because if you're angry, you have to let yourself feel it. You have to
Yeah.
actually process the emotion, which is not something we're taught.
Yeah, so the happiness trap is a type of therapy called acceptance commitment therapy, where you allow your emotions, but while they're there, you still commit to doing what's the choice that's right for your core values.
Ooh, okay. Oh, I have
So
to read
it's
that.
a good book. It's a good book. I think it's a good read.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. Now, one of the reasons we wanted to have you on is because you have incredible style. You have
thanks.
such a good eye.
Thank you.
Because I've been to your apartment to do Guys We Fuck.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, it was one of those, when you go into somebody's place and you're like, oh,
Very nice.
somebody's got an aesthetic and they're good at it. It was noted.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. I always have to make wherever I live be a nest where I can just like barf my personality up on the walls and just kind of decorate everything as like creative inspiration. So my house is always like my safe space. So thank you. I appreciate that.
How do you do it? Because I could barf my personality in the wall and I would still hate it.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
You need some self-help books. I love Alice in Wonderland, and I always kind of start from there, honestly.
Really?
I'm obsessed with like going somewhere else as often as I can. So, and I love immersive theater. I saw this immersive theater show in New York City. I've seen it 10 times. It closed with COVID. It was called And Then She Fell, which is...
I saw that too.
I saw that changed my life.
It was really interesting, wasn't it? This was an immersive performance of Alice in Wonderland set in an old mental hospital.
A mental
it was
institution.
like in a hospital, yeah.
And the entire building, it was like a 4-story building. The entire building is the set of the play.
Yeah.
And there's about 13 people in the audience for every show, 13 to 20. And the actors, they just take you places. And every time I saw it, you go into like different rooms. And I was amazed by so many facets of it. One of them was eye contact. I realized
it was a lot of
how uncomfortable I was.
Yeah.
And I'm like
staring at you while they're dancing. You're like,
there's one scene where this little Alice is like, she asks you to brush her hair, and it's just you, one audience member, and the actress, and you're like, this is weird.
Oh my God, I want that part.
She's like, tell me,
can you give me a massage?
She's like, when was the last time you were in love? And I was like, the first time I saw it, I was like, oh my God, and I just bawled. But it was very therapeutic. But visually, the set was so stunning.
Stunning, yeah.
And I was so moved by it that my last apartment, the one that you and Joe were in, I had a nook, it was a 2.5-story apartment. The half story was this little like mini attic area that you couldn't fully stand in.
I went in that. I went in that at a party.
I made, during COVID, I just made that nook like kind of reminiscent of the set from And Then She Fell, and I covered the walls in flower vines, and that's when I was like, oh, I need to make my wherever I live look stunningly beautiful at all times.
Wow.
Right.
So
that's great. I love Alice in Wonderland. There's something about the Victorian aesthetic that I really love in terms of floral prints.
Yes.
I love floral prints. I love a touch of the natural. I love also the color palette of the Victorian era, which is like off-white, a little eggshell, but then pale blue and rose hips.
Yes.
You know, that kind of.
Yes. I love that.
Even though the Victorian era, that was like such a terrible time for women. We were just being like horrendously
the only thing we had were the
repressed.
florals.
Yeah. We had flowers and heroin. We were doing cocaine from the druggist. Yeah.
Nice.
I actually went to a Victorian themed baby shower one time, and I thought it was always so funny. The girl did authentic games. It was like authentic Victorian baby shower games.
The colors, because blue was a female color.
Oh, really?
Pink used to be the boy color.
She did
I love
not.
how we just make everything up and then we abide by it.
It should just be yellow. Everything should be
But
yellow.
we still follow it. Yes,
But
everything should be yellow.
The games we played were like, put your hand in your neighbor's pocketbook and try to guess what you're touching. And I was like, I could only see that being fun if you were on heroin, which they were.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's an amazing game.
Yeah, that is a great way though to make a baby shower like at least a little bit exciting to go to.
Do some coke.
Right.
Yeah. Do a little coke.
Drugs, baby.
No, but I always see, and I was stalking you, of course, as I always do for our guests. I said, let me see what's online. But you've always got a great outfit selection. I see every time you've got like a Getty photo or something. And one thing I love about you is you don't necessarily have a distinct style. Like I see you taking a lot of risks going like now I'm doing kind of like a chic aesthetic and now I'm using like a lot of neon. Like tell us about your outfit choices for events.
Are you pinning or?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I should. I pin for interior design stuff for sure because I love getting new ideas for that. I just like loud stuff. I like things that are risks, like you said, the good eye. And funny like I wore this because I felt it was appropriate. It says Slut Island. I just feel like it's a good lady journey shirt.
Yes.
I love loud, bold things. I love like loud patterns that don't really match because nothing matters.
Right.
Why not be a freak on the red carpet? You know?
It it works for you. I mean,
Thank
it
you.
really works.
But do you do like trial and error? Because that's the problem. I like to do trial and error, but I don't have the time or the money. But I just started doing Newly.
What's that?
It's a rental.
I do Rent the Runway.
Yeah.
Love Rent the Runway.
So you
then
can
it's
try
low
things
risk.
outside of your box.
Yes.
Yeah. If you don't like it, you didn't have to commit to it.
Nice.
Right.
Oh, okay. So you can buy the stuff. Rent the Runway is, I guess you can buy stuff in Rent the Runway, but I use it as just rentals. So like,
right. That's what I'm
I'll
doing.
go
Like I'll
bold.
just wear it and then I'm going to just send it
That's
back.
fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Because then you can buy or get stuff that you're like, I don't think it's going to work. And then when it does, you're like, okay.
Yeah, because
okay.
sometimes you think you're going to look good in something and then you put it on and then you're like, what? I look like Elvis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In his
left the
fat
building.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do Buffalo Exchange. So
Ooh,
I
I
just
love Buffalo
unleash
Exchange.
myself on that shop and then I buy I'll just grab, I had a great floral kind of brocade thigh-high boots.
Ooh.
And I wear them out and then I
Katie.
return them. And then I
Oh,
just
you
get it
can
put on the
return
card.
Oh,
You have
that's a
one
good
week, you
idea.
can return it. Yeah, so it's like a clothing rental
Have you ever
place.
had that like humiliating Buffalo Exchange experience where you just take all these clothes there and they're like, all right, we'll pay you $5 for
Oh,
this.
yeah.
I'm like,
They're like, these are my
bitch,
finest silks.
what the fuck? This is Alice and Olivia. I made, when I there was a period in my life where I was making like good money and I just spent it all on clothes. And I was like, that was dumb.
Yeah.
So the rental stuff is great for.
Yeah.
How much is Rent the Runway? Do they
it's
have
like-
different options?
They have different
Yeah.
tiers. I think mine's like $120 a month with like you can exchange
Oh my
everything.
God, that's great. That's a shirt.
How much
That's
you
one
buy?
shirt. Yeah.
That's usually kind of what I waste money on a month for clothing items.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
And I
And
buy
I get
so much
tired
less.
easily.
Yeah.
Yes, I get tired of my clothes so quickly. But the place that I buy, like I got this at Fashion Brand.
Okay.
Such a great company. Instagram really knows you, and they advertise things that you're like, I have to buy that.
I know.
have to.
I got
Fashion
burned on
brand.
Instagram before because it felt like I bought a drop shipping item
Okay.
where it looked cool, and then when you got it, you're like it looks like a photo of a shirt that you gave me.
Yeah.
Where
Shit.
like there was no pocket, the
Yeah.
the threads were coming out, and
Oh,
then
no.
that I was like, I can't.
And you have to go through so many hoops to return it. You're like, I'm just going to donate
It's not
it.
even. Yeah, it wasn't even worth it. So I kind of only can stick to like brand names from Instagram.
Yeah.
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 I'm like that with
Which is-
TikTok shop too.
Yeah.
you're
Oh,
just
I've
getting
never
like.
bought anything on TikTok.
Well, it's just crazy people doing their own QVC now.
Oh.
It is.
So it's like it's like Etsy on crack.
Yeah.
It's a level of desperation, and and they're like selling you Temu stuff, kind of
Yeah.
that you're like, I don't know, lady. This sounds like a
This is
risk.
Lululemon.
Yeah.
A Lularoe.
Yeah.
I really want to look into getting some basics from Quince. I've been sold on them.
So they're an advertiser on Guys Who Fucked, and they gave us like a $100 credit or whatever, and I got some stuff on their site. They're a good site. I
Really,
gotta
they
say.
look good. I've heard that they
for
take
basics.
forever to deliver, but
I didn't. That wasn't my experience,
Okay.
but they might have upped the shipping because we're a podcast host that they take ads on, so maybe that's why. But I've had great experience, and for basics, they're incredible.
For basics, I feel like I'm just tending towards natural fibers now.
I
want
love that
linens,
for you.
I want cottons. I want my washable silks.
Yes.
But it is hard for me because I have a lot of basic stuff because I was very into the capsule wardrobe for a while. But then I was like, now I just feel like I kind of look like a mom in the 90s, that I work at a bang. And so now I'm like, okay, I have to go. Now that's why I just turn myself loose in the Buffalo Exchange. I grab
Right.
a printed top.
Right.
And, so I'm trying to, I don't think the capsule wardrobe is actually a functional wardrobe.
What is the capsule wardrobe?
The capsule
Like
wardrobe?
5 tops, 5 bottoms.
Yeah, it's everything
Topper.
matches. You have like your base color and then
purses.
like an accent color.
But
And
it's
you're
like-
supposed to kind of mix and match from that.
It feels very corporate wear.
I know. It feels like, are we in a dystopian future and I'm just only
which we
wearing
are.
beige? Yeah.
right.
Yeah. It's very like Succession, but like
Ooh.
down market.
Right.
Poor.
Yeah. So I loved the capsule wardrobe for a while, but then I think like just in terms of wanting to have personality in my
Yeah.
wardrobe, it didn't do it for me. Especially like you go on stage and you see yourself like out on Friday night and you're just
Yeah.
kind of wearing like a shapeless sweater, which I am now, but it's only because I have
But
a
look
silk
at that
top.
gorgeous thing underneath.
Isn't this
It's beautiful.
fun? I got this from Thread Up, I think.
I love that.
Gorge.
It's so beautiful.
Silk. It's
Also,
silk.
too, having all I do is watch clips of myself. It's
Yeah.
all I do.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I edit clips for Guys We Fucked. I edit clips for my solo podcast, and I do stand up clips. I'm like, I need to be. I wear good stuff for me, honestly, so I'm not bored clipping shit.
Yeah.
That's like I've gone through like years ago. I was going through like Facebook albums, and you're like, it looks like I own 2 shirts.
Yeah, right.
And that's
My
how I
show
feel about
shirts.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like that when I do clips. That's why I also signed up for the rental thing, as like I need to diversify my outfit for stage, because you are like, I don't know, I think it kind of actually helps the persona,
The
and
algorithm, all the things.
Yeah.
All the things, yeah.
Now, how are you with, because if I get something that's fabulous, and even if I love it, if it's uncomfortable, it will just sit in my closet.
Yeah, I won't do that. I can't. If it's uncomfortable, it will bother me.
Yeah.
And I will hate wearing it, and I'll resent it.
Like I saw Miley Cyrus on, I think she was doing like a Tonight Show appearance or something, and she was just like, I refuse to be cold. She was wearing like little gloves. She was like, I cannot be cold.
Wow.
And I was like, well, that surprises me, because you were
She's
like on
always
the
naked.
wrecking ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess
There's a lot
like
of heat in
she's
that
just,
room, I guess.
Yeah. Like,
It's
she's
a
just
heated
over it.
wrecking
Yeah.
ball.
Her nipples probably weren't hard during that because they had heated floors.
Yeah, but I'm the same. Like, I even have a really cute leather jacket that I'm just like, it's too hard.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
too hard on me. I need a track jacket. I need a little bomber jacket.
Unless it looks so undeniably good, I won't bear it. I won't bear
Yeah.
the discomfort.
But
I can't.
I actually have a theory. Some clothing that doesn't feel right on you actually looks good, like tight jeans in a weird
Yeah.
way.
I love tight jeans.
Yeah.
I love tight jeans. I don't know why. I just feel like my legs are getting hugged.
Yes.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
make sure, because I feel like, have you ever put on jeans and then they're not good quality, and then like 8 hours later you're like, what is happening with my ass?
Oh yeah, like where'd it go? Why is it down
Slowly
there?
disintegrating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Your butt just disappears. That's why I feel like with jeans you actually need to have them
Lift.
mold to your body.
Yeah.
The
in a way.
Levi's is the right move.
Levi's
with
are
those.
great.
Yeah. Although I do have some Levi jeans, and they're hard. They're so hard, and
like
I
denim.
keep them in the closet. Because you're like, oh, you're supposed to break in your denim. It's like, just wear it around your house. I'm like, never.
Yeah, no, it's terrible.
Those jeans will last my entire life.
Yeah, they will. They'll last
never
through a war.
get broken in.
Yeah.
I actually think it's a good idea to buy like used Levi's. Buy them used.
Yeah, let someone else wear them in.
Yeah.
and then you take them up.
And then I have a pair of jeans. I actually got these against my better policy, which is to never buy bad factory stuff where they use slave labor. But I got
that's
these.
good.
Yeah,
But I changed my mind.
But I changed my mind.
But these were cute, so never mind.
I did buy
Sorry,
these
kids.
at Meijer, and this is another reason to never buy, because like they are like slowly they don't fit my body at all anymore. And then every time I wash them, I can just see like they just get more saggy and baggy. But they're
with
so
every
comfy.
wash.
Yeah.
And now,
They're
how
so
do you know
comfy.
if it's factory labor? Because oops, I don't ever look into that, but maybe I should.
Doesn't matter.
When we all have
It
iPhones,
mostly
so.
It doesn't
is.
matter.
It just mostly is.
Oh, okay.
Unless they're like a brand that are like, we don't use factory labor.
I've never seen
Yeah.
a brand ever say that. I don't even know it was
Yeah.
a thing brand said.
Yeah.
I think if it even really expensive clothes,
Oh, yeah, a
are
lot of-
still using.
Yeah, like Lululemon does it. Yeah, like a
Yeah.
lot of really expensive
Damn.
brands.
Yeah.
Like Madewell, I think they don't do it.
Okay.
But, you know, then you're going to get an aesthetic that maybe isn't like hot.
Right.
It's
and,
not.
sorry, kids.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
taking
not,
the good
not
aesthetic.
shine. Yeah.
Yeah. Corinne is really good. My comedy partner, Corinne, is like with her makeup. She doesn't do animal testing makeup. Like she makes sure none of her products are, they use animal
yeah.
testing. I'm like, that's a great, using your morality with your consumerism is like a really good, that's
it's so
a smart
hard.
move, but
Yeah.
it is hard.
Well, I thought there should be an app that like lets you, anytime you go shopping, you can scan and it'll let you know.
Ooh.
But then I was like, but then we're just naked
Yeah.
because everything
We'll never
is
wear
fucked.
clothes or makeup
Everything's
again.
messed up. Yeah.
No shampoos, nothing.
Well, I do Sephora Clean makeup only because I have really sensitive and it makes such a difference in terms of I have blepharitis. It's
What's
an eye
that?
condition.
Oh.
It's an eye condition. Our followers know all about it. They have
What's the condition?
It's like when your eyelash follicles, sometimes when you have your tears can evaporate and you can get like crust on the eyes, or
Yeah.
like you wake up in the morning, you've got
I
like
always
really
get
crusty
boogers.
eyes.
Yeah, I always have eye boogers.
Like if you have blepharitis, that is either a lot more or just irritates the eyelash follicles. So like if you have any residual makeup, it can
so you got to get
really,
all that off.
Yeah. It can mess you up. So I was getting it worse when I would use like just regular. I used to use like the Better Than Sex mascara, and now I just only use Isla for everything. And I think it is better for you, and also they don't touch animals with it. They're not like putting it on an animal.
That's good. I love. Yeah, it's for some reason, which is fucked. It's easier for me to care about animals getting abused, like in terms of like what I buy. Factory labor, I'm like,
right?
They got a job.
Well, it's like everything, and then like I might be wrong, but it feels like even for those small, low-paying jobs and wherever it's coming, it's still like better than most scenarios that they could have.
Yeah.
Not that I'm trying to
That's
rationalize
just me trying to I am.
but
I straight up am.
But here's the thing: it's like we talk about that over in Asia, but then what Asia's factory is Africa.
Right.
That's their
really?
Asia. Yeah. So they even do
God.
outsource even cheaper labor.
Wow.
In Africa that you're like, oh, so it's just garbage everywhere.
Yeah, man. Consumerism.
No, I just listened to a really fascinating podcast called Outlaw Ocean, and it was all about like people on the high seas. You know, you just like get out in international waters and you're just out there in the middle of nowhere.
No laws.
And they have like tons of these people. They're called sea slaves. It's sea slavery, and it's like a new thing in the past 10 years where they will just be basically kidnapped from whatever country that they're in.
That's like being shanghaied.
Yeah, like you're getting a lot of people. Some people are looking for better jobs and they're getting trafficked, which is like kind of what happens in a lot of trafficking situations where it's like, you have to like pay.
We have benefits. Come here,
you have to like pay the money to get on this or whatever. Some people were like, I just blacked out and I woke up and I'm like on a boat. And they will have these boats. They'll have them out in the middle of nowhere. And then they will have ships come out, resupply them, and then it's usually fish in this context.
Okay.
And then these people will just be stuck out there for years.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's wild.
Oh my God.
And we've also heard, like
that's terrible.
I know. Sorry.
Well, we really have a good
journey.
You guys, we
downer.
really have it good. Let's just take a second to appreciate our situations.
I know.
We always talk about these are the facts that we come into at a social hang.
So excited.
Hi everyone. Happy baby shower. I've heard about I have a great new podcast to recommend.
It also makes me like, there's so often I find myself saying like, oh, America, I'm so over like just the corruption, all this stuff. But then when you zoom out and think about all these awful things that are happening everywhere else, you're like, all right, America's pretty good.
I know you have to give yourself a chance to hate other countries.
Yeah,
too.
right?
You have to expose
that's
yourself to other countries that are not great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I think that I will say Rent the Runway and rental boxes, that's a great way to, if you're not so much like buying fast fashion and like throwing it in the ocean.
Definitely
I think
good for the
that's
environment.
Good. Yeah.
Yes.
Good for the environment and also good in terms of like just being sustainable.
For sure.
For other people's lives too.
Yeah. I love Rent the Runway. Oh, can't recommend it enough.
It is. The only problem is, can you do it if you're traveling to another location? Because don't they give you a short window to wear stuff? Like, say if you were going to LA.
Some items they'd give you a short window to wear it, but they did that for one item for me a long time. I've been renting from them for years, and they only did that for one item, and I didn't realize it. And they're like, "You need to return this, or you're buying it." I'm like, "What? No." So I never mean to. Yeah. I'm like, shit. But usually, I can hold on to things for like a month or more if I haven't worn it yet.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, tell us about what's going on with your rollerblading life.
Oh my God, I love rollerblading.
I love rollerblading, and I felt like rollerbladers were made fun of.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now
it's like the fanny pack.
Oh,
sports.
I rollerblade with a fanny pack.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah. And you have to also not give a fuck.
Right.
Yes.
Because sometimes I've been rollerblading for years. I'll be on there and I'm like, I'm embarrassed. And then you just have to go, it doesn't matter.
But it's better than roller skating. But for some reason, roller skating is cooler. But
it is.
You're clunkier on the roller skate, and you're going down on the streets of New York in a roller skate.
Well, I have a need for speed.
Yeah.
You have a need I was in East Village Park just walking around, and I just saw you whipping by. I was like, Krystyna. And you were flying. You were flying.
Yeah, I go really fast. I've not fallen.
Do you yell out to people?
So you know what I do? Yeah. Well, I haven't fallen yet, so I haven't.
Breaks.
But yeah. But something I do to kind of speaking earlier about like the energy darts.
Yes.
Sometimes when I feel like I've just been like cranky or like my energy's not good, I'll go rollerblading. I usually smoke a little weed, but it's because I've been rollerblading for years. So I'm super comfortable on the blades. But and I'll make eye contact with as many people as I can when I pass them, and when I make eye contact in my head, I'll say I love you to them, and
That's
it totally
nice.
it's so gay, but like I love it. It really recalibrates my energy, and it reminds me of like we're just all trying to get by.
Right.
I love
you
that.
know, we're just all trying to, and
A
so
little positive energy.
yeah. And another thing I'll do when I was rollerblading down the east side when I lived on 34th Street, which I loved that path was so I could
Yeah.
go
The
so
It
fast.
doesn't
East
seem
River
as
Walk,
popular
yeah.
as the west side.
The west side's a great place to rollerblade, and it's a lot of smooth pavement. The east side was there's a lot of rocky areas.
Yeah, because
but
I went rollerblading on the west side and it was fine, but I was like, I need smoother.
yeah, because then
I need
there's
a
no
court.
point.
Sarah, I didn't know that you rollerbladed.
It's so fun.
I bought my rollerblades from Christy Cello.
Oh, that's
Oh,
fun.
I love
Good
this. It's
juju.
a secret underground comedian rollerblading rink
That's amazing.
circle.
Yeah, but like I mean, scattered mulch can take you out. Like
Right.
it's
Yeah,
it's very
scary. That's
the
scary.
wheels are very tiny.
Now, do you wear a helmet and knee pads?
No, I
don't
don't.
either. It's uncool.
and I don't, when I talk about rollerblading
It
a
looks
lot.
stupid in a helmet.
Honestly, yeah. But also too, I'm just so comfortable on the rollerblades that I don't. But I'm like, if you're trying it out, you should definitely wear a helmet and pads.
And
like,
don't smoke pot and say I love you.
don't
in
do
your mind to
any of the
people.
things that I do. I've graduated many rollerblading levels to get
Is
there.
A master's
Another
level,
level.
an
I've earned
MA
it.
level rollerblader.
Yeah. So I do recommend the pads and stuff until you're really, really, really comfortable. But another thing that I'll do on the east side is there's this little strip where you're against the FDR.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going against all this traffic, and a lot of times they'll be like, bumper to bumper, and I'll just wave to people like, hi. Like I've haven't seen them in years, and they're like, what the fuck? And I'm like, this is so fun. It feels risky, but like
right.
it's not
Love it.
it's nothing negative. And so I'm like, oh, they're probably like, who's that batshit crazy chick that waved to me on the rollerblades?
Or they're probably like, I listened to your podcast.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Every once in a while I'll be rollerblading, I'll hear Babes on Blades, which is like a merch that I used to have, and I'm like, yeah.
Yes.
Great.
Babes
Makes me
on
so happy.
Blades.
I kind of get it though, because when you're running or just vibing like that with music, I can't help it if there's like a drum beat. I will get into the drum beat.
So yes, so I will
do
too.
like little like ding.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually started taking drum lessons. I've been taking them for a year because when I was rollerblading and I would listen to like System of a Down or something, I'm like, I think I want to drum. Like, I think I'm telling myself I
so
want to
fun.
drum.
And you're like, I can do it.
Yeah.
Immediately out the gates.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love drumming.
Yeah.
I love drumming.
Wow.
You can transcend rage
Now,
through drumming.
do you have maladaptive daydreaming when you are rollerblading?
What is
Like,
that? Probably, but
out
what
of
is that?
control daydreams.
Are you like off in your own
Like,
mind,
sometimes-
living
yes.
in a fantasy world?
I'm in a movie.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm in 8 movies. Like for 1 mile, I'm in
Yes.
8 movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Where like I'll have a fantasy. I don't know why I need to kick ass at my high school talent show, but I am
Totally.
I am kicking ass in my high school talent show
Uh-huh.
while I'm working out. Like where they're like, oh my god, I did not know
Who
that
is
you
that
could-"
girl? Yeah. Well, and when you're
Like
on
a hidden
rollerblades,
Towers
yeah.
here. Yeah.
When you're on rollerblades, kids think you're the shit. Like when
Wow.
a child sees you like an adult on rollerblades, they're like, "What is that?" And I'm always like, "You can be this too, kids, when you grow up." Like, and so sometimes I'll imagine they're like, "Who is that lady?" And like, I've changed that child's life forever.
Right.
I made an indent.
You have such cute rollerblading style. You wear
Thank
you wear
you.
the little booty shorts.
Yeah.
So cute.
Thank you. Yeah, it's nice. It's fun. Well, mostly because I don't like being uncomfortable, and so when it's the summertime, it's like it's so hot, and for some reason, I mean, I have to get over this, but I just hate being sweaty. I hate it. Hate it. Hate
Yeah.
it. And
You just
but
need
I
to
also
let it dry. Let it dry naturally.
Yeah. I also don't like being scantily clad in public. It makes me feel really uncomfortable. But when I'm rollerblading and it's hot out, I'm like, fuck it. I just
They
have to
can't
not
see
care.
you. You go right by.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
You're-
That's why I
you're
go
part
so
of the
fast.
air.
Well,
Yeah.
I also feel like rollerblading sometimes can desexualize you.
I hope so.
Inadvertently.
I hope so. But sometimes talk about like being in a movie. I'll do this move where I'll like put my leg up and I'll pretend I was an ice skater and I'm just like
Yes.
trying to get back into it and like, wow, I wonder like where she skated on the ice. Like, Yeah, I don't know
Is
why I
that
do
ice
that.
castles?
Yeah,
Oh my God. Were you in the Olympics?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to impression I'm trying to
Double
give.
axel.
But when I rollerblade, I'll smoke weed and listen to music. But I started running, and I don't take my phone. I don't listen to music, and running is like I was sleeping on that.
The
I
adrenaline
never,
rush from running is intense.
Well, and
yeah.
the oxygen, you just get so much oxygen.
Yeah.
That I didn't realize. Like, I was
endorphins.
poo-pooing running for the longest time, but the amount of oxygen that you get makes it worth it. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's a
the
crazy
runner's
high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could never run without music, though. I need something to
It is
get me
a-
going. A little pit bull.
It is a-
motivation. Yeah.
It is a light steroid, and I got used to it. But then I went one summer where I made sure I didn't, and it hits differently
Didn't what?
without the music.
Yeah.
Meaning like it is. You don't think it would be, but it is. It's better for some reason.
I agree.
going.
Yeah.
So when I rollerblade, I'm in another world and everything's a movie. But when I run is when I write. Because
Yes.
I don't have headphones, I don't have a phone.
Okay.
And so, but I'll remember, like I'll repeat the thing that I want to remember, like the joke I want to remember. And then when I get back, I will
Right.
have remembered it, but it's a lot of concentration.
I actually read, I believe it was the book Bird by Bird, which is like a writing advice book. And
Ooh.
I
Ooh,
think
that's
it
a
was
good-
in
ooh, I
this
gotta
book.
write
Yeah,
that
it was a really great book. This book, she recommends that running for writers, like in the morning, like waking up and physically trying to write a little bit and then running because the subconscious continues to work
Yeah,
while
yeah.
you're busy. So it
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
a well-known technique.
That's great.
I love that.
love running and writing. I also love deep cleaning and writing.
Oh,
Yes,
I love
we
a
talked about
clean. Oh,
I was
clean
deep cleaning
talk.
before I came here. I
Yes.
was so I had an ovarian cyst burst 2 days ago.
Oh my God.
I've been sleeping for 48 hours. I've just been oh my God.
Are you okay?
Totally
Yeah,
fine.
Thank
It's
you for
happened
coming.
before.
We've had people no show for way lesser reasons.
Yeah, no, it's
For period cramps.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that they could be really bad, but yeah. So my house was a mess. I gotten back from LA and everything. I'm like, oh, just feel like gross and grimy when my house is a mess.
Yeah, same,
So I started
same.
deep cleaning my kitchen this morning,
I
and
love
it was
it.
oh, it
Oh,
was
it's so
blissful.
satisfying when you get a little dirt behind
And then you
the
walk
sink.
in
yeah.
to your home, and you're like, I can breathe. It's so
Oh,
nice.
it's like a drug.
yes.
It does make a difference. We've talked about that with like biohacking for men, and that the patriarchy of they're like cold plunging and like doing like climbing Mount Everest, like we don't have the time for that, but not realizing that like just deep cleaning is just as meditative
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
as
Deep
doing a lot
cleaning.
of that. And I find it better than that bullshit because you actually are contributing.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
helping the family.
You're helping the
Yes.
family. Yeah.
Instead of
You're helping
being
everybody's
off
state of mind.
in
Your
Mount
cold,
Everest.
your cold plunge.
Yeah. My boyfriend, we live a block away from each other. And so I have keys to his apartment. And he was telling me he had friends over and he was coming back and he's like, oh, my apartment's a mess. So as a surprise, I like went over and deep cleaned his apartment. And he was like, thank you so much. I'm like, I got a lot out of this too, man.
Yeah.
I gotta
Yeah.
say, like, but walking into a space that's been like deeply cleaned. And he was saying, he's like, you have a touch when you clean. That's like, I don't even know what it is. I'm like, thank you. That
I
means a
love to
lot
put on a
me.
podcast, so like
Yeah, yeah.
investigative. You know, you feel like you're putting the yarn in between like the
Yeah.
photos. You're solving the crime.
Yeah, totally.
Now, I want to hear about this drum lesson though, because
Ooh,
I
yeah.
love it when women in their middle age take a lesson for themselves or like a
Yeah.
class. Like it seems like such an act of like self-spoiling. You know, to be
Sure.
like, I'm going to take a class in something I'm interested in, but also has like nothing to do with like I take tons of classes, but it's always like writing and acting
Sure,
class. You know,
yeah.
brushing up, doing that. But
Yeah. Well, speaking of like biohacking, it helps your brain. Learning a new instrument is one of the best ways you can develop neuroplasticity, which is when both of your your left and right hemisphere of your brain have like a clearer communication with each other, so you get like less overwhelmed. And so that was very appealing about it to me. Also, I was just rollerblading and drumming out like air drumming, and that's why I'm like, I'm doing this a lot. I think I need to drum. But I play the piano. I have a piano in my apartment, and so I love music. I love hobbies that are just for me, that I'm not putting out online. I'm not trying to like make a thing out of. I'm not trying to put it into my act or anything. That is very valuable for me, and it is tribal.
Right.
Like I learned. I just finished learning chop suey by System of a Down, and there's a lot of the beginning is just floor toms, and it is. I just do the beginning part, and just for hours. I'll do it, and it's the catharsis that I get from it is unlike anything else. It's incredible.
Well,
I love
it's
it.
like you're riding a wave.
It's exactly like that. And when
you're
you're doing
in tune
stand
with
up,
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I find that in stand up, I call it the flow.
Ooh,
Totally.
getting in the flow.
So when you have a
yeah.
heckler that is like stepping on your lines, you're like,
Oh, yeah.
it's not that I'm bothered by what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're ruining my rhythm right now.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, and I get very
Yeah.
angry with that. Yeah. Drumming's the shit because it's difficult. It's complicated in a way that I've never come up against, which is great for the neuroplasticity, and it's cool.
It's so cool.
It's so cool.
yeah.
Oh my God.
It's so fun.
I can't. Well, I know that you don't want to use this for the career, but like I can't wait for you to just whip this out at Josh Adameyer's band.
So
Yeah.
actually, I
Yeah.
kind of want to ask
Riley,
him
I
for
need you to.
Skankfest.
I want you to
Yeah.
debut this skill.
Yeah, I want to. I'm going to ask him if anybody wants to do chop suey because I can sing and drum at the same time, which I was looking up all the women like Sheila E is a huge example of that, and Karen Carpenter, one of the best drummers of all
Yes.
times.
Wow.
Could drum and sing at the same time, but not a lot of women drumming and singing. A couple men, but it's just rare.
Yes.
And the other cool thing about drumming and then singing on top of that is it's 5-way independence. So both of your hands, both of your feet are doing completely separate things, and then when
Wow.
you add singing to that, so you're like a little octopus, and
That's wild.
it is so it's like soothing.
It's like Bert in Mary Poppins with his one man band.
Totally.
Yeah.
But when you get to the place, like you have to really work hard to get. Or I have to get there. But when you're there, you're like, it's very relaxing. It's like
Yeah.
oddly relaxing.
Well, I remember like thinking that singing while playing guitar would be something naturally, and it's not.
Dude, guitar. I'm
it
like,
took a
I don't-
while to
Do you play
figure
guitar?
that. I do, and I don't as much anymore. But that was part of my younger days. I wanted to rock,
Hell yeah.
but I
we should be in a
realized
band. Do
I
you play
will.
anything?
Oh my gosh. No,
I would
I
love
could
to.
sing.
Okay, perfect.
I can't sing that well though.
That's okay.
I'll just
Fuck
be a
it.
little flat.
We're all just like kind of half-assed in our instruments. That's fine.
Moms.
That is in my fantasy to rock, like to debut the skill.
Yeah.
At Josh, I forgot his band name, and I don't want to insult him because I
well,
do
the-
adore him. And I love
the goddamn comedy jam.
goddamn
Yeah.
comedy jam.
Yeah.
That's one of my maladaptive daydreams is to debut my skill, and everyone's
Yes.
like,
Wait,
Everyone's
so is a
like,
maladaptive
whoa.
daydream like one that just doesn't move your life forward? Or
It's
Well,
where it's like a daydream that
out of
you,
control, that-
you relive a fantasy over and over, and it sucks you away from life.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
that's my MO.
well, meaning like they're ones where you don't even have a boyfriend, but you've got a boyfriend, you found him cheating, and you've created a
I have
great
that one all the time.
You've created a great revenge against him, and you get off on the revenge that you've created. So
Yeah.
it's like it goes. You can go at like almost an hour into it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's what we.
I have
We've
a great
discovered this
one.
on like Reddit and also TikTok, and I was like, when you find this world, you're like, oh, I didn't know that's what I was doing.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a great one I'm working on right now called When I Go to Look at My Wedding Venues. And it's just me telling the person that what we need. I'm like, we're from New York. We'll be down a few weeks before the wedding, but we want ease. We want inclusive. You know, it's just me telling her that I don't want to spend a lot of time on this when it's become my life.
Yeah.
My therapist said that she thinks I'm actually displaying addictive behavior with my wedding planning. And I think she's right.
Planning a wedding's got to be so fun.
It's really fun.
Stressful,
to,
but like in a fun way.
it's really fun when you have something else that you need to be doing. And I'm like, I should look
Totally,
at flowers.
that's my MO
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that shit. That's why if I get married, I want my wedding to be an immersive theater experience.
Oh, how cool.
Because you can make it whatever you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
Nevermore.
Yeah.
Will he cheat? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, that'd be fun.
But Krystyna, as we're winding down a little bit, tell us, what's your journey that you're on right now? What is your journey?
Oh, my current journey, there's so many. The self-improvement one, I feel like is wrapping up. I mean, that never really wraps up. That continues until the day we die.
Yes.
But I've made so many strides on that I'm like, okay, we're going to move on to the next journey. But I'm just trying to get into a place where my mental health is so good that I can be I do this thing where I say yes to projects that excite me, and then I overload my plate, and then I pass out and I can't function.
Yeah.
So I want that to not be a thing anymore, and I'm slowly working towards that. But I feel like I'm always on 12 journeys at the same time.
Oh, I love that.
So as the self-help journey is kind of wrapping up and kind of having a steady, like, you know, it's its own machine. The mediumship journey and the
I love it.
paranormal stuff and the metaphysical phenomena I'm so obsessed
We
with.
love it. That's very lady journey.
Yeah, right?
I love the
Blood
mediumship
crystals.
for you. Yeah. Oh.
And I want to save, like, I want to get good at that because anybody can do it from all the research. I've done so much research on it. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, I think I want to save that for like my 60s and 70s
Oh.
so that like I have something
get a cape.
to look forward to.
Yeah.
I actually feel like
Get a cape?
Yeah.
That's great. And a wand.
Yeah.
I feel like you're going to transition nicely into your older years that you'll be like a well-known New Yorker. Do you know what I
That'd
mean?
be sick with the
Yeah,
like
like Iris
fashionable glass.
Apfel.
The
Yes.
rollerblading, the positive rollerblader.
Yeah.
That knows how to talk to dead people.
Oh,
That's
that'd be
my
so
rollerblading
cool.
medium.
Yeah,
There's
you know,
your reality show.
I want to become like this person that I will be proud of. And I like, there's so many iterations that we experience of ourselves.
Yes.
And so, but I'm really working on the ones in my older years of like, this is my 60s, 70s, and 80s are going to be the shit.
Oh my gosh.
can't wait.
60s is going
Is
to be
there
fun.
a particular person that you want to reach out in the medium world, or is it for other people?
It's more for other people.
to
Okay.
for
Yeah.
mourning a
Yeah, good
process,
one.
or
Yeah, you know what amazes me the most about it is, so there's this woman, Laura Lynn Jackson. She has
Okay.
2 New York Times bestselling books that I highly recommend. One is called The Signs, and the other one is called The Light Between Us. I've read them both dozens of times. I have seen, I first was introduced to her through the Netflix docuseries Surviving Death.
I have seen it. Yes. I
That
have seen it.
changed my life. Like the episodes
interesting,
about
really
reincarnation,
interesting.
I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa. What? How are we not talking about this all the time? She was featured in the Mediumship episode. I'm actually going to see her do a 90-person reading in June. But I've seen her do 90-person readings a couple times. I've taken workshops with her that have all blown my mind. And I'm not trying to contact anybody who's passed away. I've never had a tragic death. But I have seen this one moment that'll like shape me forever. Is one of the 90-person readings I went to. There was a woman who walked in, and it's all people with grief. Like a lot of them have lost children, which is like, whew,
Oh, that's
cannot
tough.
imagine that grief.
Yeah.
Lost a romantic partner, like Jesus Christ. They're all really sad. And I'm just like, let's go. Like I want to see it.
They're
I'm so
rollerblading.
excited. Yeah, right. A rollerblading.
child death.
And so I remember she kind of just reads people at random, and I just love watching her. And she got to this lady that was really angry. Like I felt her, and I'm empathic, and I felt like, ugh, like her energy kind of freaked me out. She was so angry. And so she finally got to this lady, and Laura looks at her and she goes, "Your son is here." And she just lost
Oh my
it.
gosh.
She was with another young man who ended up being her other son. And Laura is she used to be a middle school teacher, I believe. The sweetest woman, so kind. Like her voice is so gentle. She's like the mother we all need if we didn't have a good mom. Like she's so beautifully gentle in these readings. She got like real with this woman. I've never seen her speak like this. And she was like, basically the woman's son died of a drug overdose in her house. She was
Okay.
there when her son died.
Okay.
And she tried to get her son to rehab and all of these things. And the anger she was carrying was, if I did something different, he would be alive. That was that resentment, that chip on her shoulder, big chip. And Laura kind of got eye to eye with her, and she goes, "If you don't, there's nothing you could have done. Your son would have died regardless. It was part of the plan before he got here. There was nothing you could have done, and I mean that. And if you are continuing to be bitter about your son's death, you're going to miss out on the son to your right, his kids. There's a whole future, a whole life. The rest of your life is going to be shit." Basically, she didn't say that, but she said it in that way. I watched this woman go from so angry that I was scared of her to like this light, her face changed. And I was like,
Wow.
holy shit. That it's like, you know, those scenes in movies where it's in an old timey church and there's a kid in a wheelchair and the pastor comes and touches his shoulder and the kid can walk and you're like, it's a miracle. That I witnessed like a miracle.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is the most potent thing I've ever seen in my life. And so if mediumship can do that for people, the rest of that woman's life is going to be beautiful now because she had this
Wow.
experience.
Yeah.
She got a message communicated. I didn't know the lady, but like Laura was saying some things that were very, very personal. The woman, you could tell, was like, okay, my son is here. It's undeniable. Like I can't, there's no way I can kind of get logical against him not being here. So yeah, I think that what a quick way to change somebody's life for the rest of their existence.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to do it.
Or, that's also a lot of power that you could abuse.
Oh yeah, there's a lot
Your
of mediums
son's
that are
here, he
fake.
farted. Like, what?
Totally. But I actually did. Do you know Ani Moosh? She did podcast producing and stuff. She moved to Boston. She lived in New York for a while.
Okay.
She's into this shit, and so there was an exercise in a book that was like, if you take an object of somebody that's passed away, like sit and meditate with it and just say what you feel and see if it's correct. Like that's a good way to test or to kind of exercise it.
Okay.
So we did that together. She gave me a necklace. She told me it was her grandmother's, and I was like, don't tell me anymore. I want to see what I can get. I closed my eyes and I listed all the specific stuff. The scene from American Beauty where Annette Bening's cutting her rose garden, like all this really specific shit came to me. And I remember from the book, they're like, if you think you're making it up, say it, because that's true. Intuition is super subtle. It's a whisper. And so if you think like, is this real? Just say that. I closed my eyes for about 20 minutes. I just said stuff. I said yellow gardening can and all this stuff. I opened my eyes and she was crying. And I was like,
Wow.
One of the things I said was like a black and white checkered gardening apron. She ran into her room to get a picture of her grandmother in a black and white checkered gardening apron. And she
Wow.
goes, everything you said was absolutely correct. The yellow watering can she gave to me before she died as like a kind of an heirloom. And I was like, that's so cool.
Wow.
So yeah, we can all do it. It's like a power that we all have. So
I love this. This is exciting. This
Thank
is
you.
really exciting.
Yeah, I'm pretty
and,
thrilled about it.
Working on the channel, it feels to me like the drumming in a way of like just clearing the channel.
Totally.
Yeah.
Clearing those pipes.
You're getting the pipes cleared.
Yeah, clean those pipes,
Getting
baby.
your pipes laid.
Yeah. Laid and blasted out.
Well, Krystyna, thank you so much for joining us.
thank
You're an
you.
absolute joy. You're a lady on a journey.
Yes.
So many journeys.
Where can everybody find you online?
You can find me. Instagram's my main one, at Krystyna Hutch, Krystyna. I also have a Patreon that I love, patreon.com/Krystyna Hutchinson, where I have once a week, I do an hour of group therapy where people just come in and talk about whatever is on their mind and we get deep. And it's really rewarding. It's a really awesome space. And so I take the audio from that and I put it up on Patreon. But yeah, it's I love my
Sounds
Patreon.
so
So I want
fun.
to promote that too.
Yeah. Well, everybody, thank you for listening.
Lady Journey.